Hello, welcome to day 3 of 31 in 31. I'm John from Just Another Horror Podcast. You can find the show on Podbean under the John Sequitur title. This week we'll be releasing Evil Dead 2 as soon as I can get around to editing it between watching movies and reviewing them. It's coming. You can also find the Top Shelf podcast there. It's about hockey, and Just Sick. It's about everything. Serial killers, monsters, space, all kinds of cool stuff. Today, I watched Mountain of the Cannibal God. Ever hear of it? I doubt you did. Mountain of the Cannibal God stars Ursula Andress, which is a woman from the Bond films, the one that gets out of the water with the bathing suit. Yeah, if you want to see her nude, here you go. This movie is about her and another guy. Her name in the movie is Susan, I think, maybe. And they're going to take an expedition to go find her husband, Henry, who was lost in the New Guinea jungles, apparently searching for nobody knows. So they go into the jungle, and we get lots of animal violence because this is a cannibal movie, and somebody please fucking shoot me. And we watch some animals attack each other, and then it plays some dramatic music every time they get on a raft, or I don't know. This movie is like an adventure movie with, like, violence. So it's like a cannibal movie, but it's not really. You want a good cannibal movie, you watch Cannibal Holocaust or Cannibal Ferox, which we're going to get to. Those movies, Cannibal Ferox has a cheese factor to it. Cannibal Holocaust has an actual horrific feel to it. This has like a ripoff of several different genres, just kind of mishmashed. But at points in this movie, when you're just about to fall asleep, crazy shit happens. Like this. Watch this scene. This is amazing.
That's enough! Damn you! Now the police know where we are, you stupid ignorant!
Edward!
I'm sure he wanted to cheat us all.
Ow! Ow!
That's enough. I've heard all I can take from you.
Huh. And this came out of nowhere, too. Everyone gets punched. And this isn't the last time it happens. People are getting punched left and right in this movie. And you're probably wondering to yourself, why is this called Mountain of the Cannibal God? For a long time, I was wondering the same thing. In fact, 1 hour into the movie, there's nothing resembling cannibals. An alligator eats somebody. Another guy gets trapped in a cage with spikes. It's hard to explain. He's also up in the air. I have no idea how to explain that. It's weird looking. And then they go to a village where somebody is like trying to spread Christianity around. But of course, like as soon as they get there, ooh, white man, I'm gonna sleep with him. And that woman gets stabbed by a guy from the Puka tribe. The Puka tribe is our cannibals. If you've ever, and I know if you haven't seen Mountain of the Cannibal God, I really doubt you've seen Obscured by Clouds. It's a movie that Pink Floyd did the soundtrack for right before they did Dark Side of the Moon. And there's these things in there, this indigenous tribe called the Mudmen. These things look exactly like those things. I don't know if they had props laying around or what, but it's two obscure movies where they try to talk about indigenous tribes using mud masks. I don't know. This movie is definitely a product of its time. In today's world, this would offend every human being on Earth. But when you really watch it, it's just so goddamn boring. I can't understand how anybody would get offended by it. Finally, after one of our main characters from the beginning is left to die with a half an hour left in the movie and your jaw drops, you're like, what the fuck? Why did they leave him behind? We get into a cave where Ursula Andress pulls out a Geiger and she's been looking for uranium the whole time. She didn't look for a dead husband, she's looking for uranium. And they're like, oh, you're a real asshole, you know that? And then the cannibals show up. I guess they hang out with the uranium. Okay, so they think that because of a picture that Henry took with him when he showed up there, of him and Ursula Andress, Susan, whatever you want to call her, that she is now a goddess because they made him into a god. And he's like melting because he's dead. And they're like wiping his melt all over themselves. And then they wipe it on her. And then they make them eat people. Which I don't give a whatever. If you're in an indigenous tribe in New Guinea and you're really worried about what society's going to think of you, you're probably going to die. So they rub her up with all this shit. And then everybody fucks. It's a big orgy that is completely out of left field. There's 20 minutes left in the movie. There's been no indication that anything like this is about to happen. And then one of the cannibals fucks a pig. God damn this movie. It is batshit. And then, I keep saying and then, like I'm describing the movie in a really horrible way, but it's just one event after another that's just like out of left fucking field. Then one of the cannibals tries to like have sex with Ursula Andress, but all the other cannibals wake up, they drag him over and cut his dick off. Okay. And then there's a guy from Willy Wonka, one of the Oompa Loompas, who I guess decided to be in this movie. He's one of the cannibals. He starts like jabbing at the guy. Here, watch this. What the fuck? So and then they escape. And yay, white men! White men victorious! Even though the woman brought somebody into the jungle in order to have them killed to find the uranium. I'm supposed to root for her? Why am I rooting for her? They stomped into these people's caves, started killing a whole bunch of them. In fact, the guy that they left to die at one point in the movie is like, if I could just kill everybody in that tribe, my nightmares would end. Yay! Go kill an entire race of people! Woo! This movie is insane. Completely insane. It's nothing like I remember it, although last time I watched it, I had to watch it without dubbing, but I figured most of what they were saying wasn't that important. Turns out, it kind of was, and it kind of made the movie even goofier than I thought it was to begin with. If you can find this movie, watch it. There's animal violence, there's terrible racism, there's violence against women. It's not the greatest things in the world, but holy shit. If you want to take a look at what was acceptable in 1970, whatever the hell this movie was made, as compared to now, there is a striking difference. Anyway, tomorrow we're going to hit up something a little bit more mainstream, but for right now, have a good night, everybody.